Moving ahead, we have the fourth panel discussion related to the medical education. Here we will be talking about the trends and future of medical education. A lot of discussion will happen, overhaul and upgradation of curriculum, increase in new college, quantity versus quality, medical education in nation's healthcare, lessons learned during, and call upon Dr. K.P. Joshi, Vice President, SVS Medical College, Mehboob Nagar, who would be moderating the session for us today. Also, I would like to call upon Dr. Gayatri Kamineni, CEO, Kamineni Hospitals. Further, would like to call upon Dr. Kiran Madala, EC member, All Indian Federation of Government Doctors Associations. And on the list, last but not the least, we have Dr. Aditya Vikram Kabra, Managing Director, Pulse Healthcare Associates, Chief and HOD. Yeah, I would like to, since the mics are here ready, I would like to hand over the session to Dr. K.P. Joshi.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, first of all, thank you for IndiGlobal for inviting all of us for this important session. Before starting, I would like to tell one thing. This sessions is all related about my health, our health, especially your health, regarding the community health and the national health. So please pay attention. And the first thing regarding the health system when it comes in your mind, usually we feel scared, or else we feel that no, we always should remain healthy. And health for all cannot be achieved by only medicines, by only tablets, or not only by the set of the investigations. That is the holistic health, how it comes. This is all today we'll be discussing different parts. So I would be starting with the first thing regarding the medical education system. As you all are aware that our medical education systems is, you can say, governed or else observed by the National Medical Commission. Previously it was Medical Council of India. And at present, the medical education system is very good. Why it is good? I would be talking about the curriculum aspect of this thing. Because since morning you are discussing about curriculum of your higher educations, school educations. So medical educations also is a system. And for your kind informations, there's the Indian doctors only are the doctors who are respected in the world. From the world, the people are coming to our country and at our place. 10% of the doctors from the US are the Indians. So that is no doubt about the medical education system, how it is. Now, but in the present situations, if you say what the NMC says that what kind of doctors we want. We want a physician who will provide preventive, promotive, curative, and holistic care with the prerequisite knowledge, skill, attitude, ethics, and professionalism. All these are the big set of qualities. It looks like for you when you go to doctor, okay, he's just treating to us. But there are so many set of competencies that the doctor should possess or he or she should have while treating the patient. So if you say that curriculum from 1997, after the 21 years, in 2019, the medical education system got the new curriculum, which is the name by CBME, which is called as a competency-based medical education curriculum. And the basic difference between the old and new curriculum was, it is purely student-centric learning. Paradigm shift from teacher-centric learning to the student-centric learning. Many things we all, when we did our MBBS, even our senior did MBBS, there was some hidden curriculum. We never learned soft skill or communication skill. It was never taught. But now there is in the curriculum. So if you see in the curriculum, the MBBS students is 5.5 years of the rigorous training. 4.5 years as a course and 1 year as an internship. In this 4.5 years, they've divided in 2 or 3 parts. Usually it is written 3, preclinical, paraclinical, and clinical. And that one in the part, there will be a set of the things where the student has to go through. Starting from there, the first one, if you say in the curriculum, like in MBBS, now the foundation course is there. As the student enters, there will be technical training, there will be skill training, language training, computer assisted training, And then afterwards, early clinical exposure. Right from the first years, the clinical orientations will be given to the student. And then ATCOM, attitude, ethics, and communication, which I was talking about to you. It was never part of the curriculum previously. What is the importance of the communication skill, how it should be dealt so that he or she can communicate properly. So there are 5 basic roles a doctor need to play in which the curriculum plays the role. The one is a clinician, already I told, preventive promotive care. Second one is the good communicator. Third one is the leader. A leader doesn't mean that the politics and all. Leader means he or she should be able to work in the team, should be able to lead the team, should be able to communicate properly. In any situation comes, they should be able to lead from the front. That's what the COVID-19, you might have seen, how the doctor said did it. And then he or she should be also, at the time of there should be a proper professionalism also will be there. So that is the fourth one. And the last one is the lifelong learner. No one can say, for any educators, they're lifelong learner. But in the medical field, the day you felt that I know everything, you are ending your own career. That's all. So, lifelong learner. So, all this in this thing in the curriculum, they have designed in such a way that the training from first year, second year, parallelly integrated teaching is there. And the assessment as well as teaching and assessment. Not only about knowledge, not only about skill, not only about the attitude and ethics, all to put together, the assessment methods also have been improved. New methodologies for teaching. There's a flipped classroom right now. There's a jigsaw method right now. There are many other methods by which you can train our students in a better way. Assessment. No submitted, only yearly exam. Even during the class, you can assess. I was just listening at previous things that how the student assess. There can be 360 days evaluation. There can be round evaluation. There can be portfolio, e-portfolios. There can be many ways by you can assess the students. That is what now in the new curriculum we are doing with the medical education. So with this set of whole structure of 4.5 years with the training process, because it is a system approach. You all are the educationists, you may be knowing what is called system approach: input, process, and output. So input is all whatever the colleges are coming, faculty is coming and all. And when it is coming to the process, this 4.5 years of the training will make a complete doctor, which already I gave the definitions. So it's apart from that, I feel that the new curriculum is a very good initiative, which is welcomed by, it is globally relevant. In US and UK also the competency based, it is not pure competency curriculum. So it was a great initiative from the NMC and all, which initiated this curriculum, and all colleges are trying their level best to implement. And once it is implemented thoroughly, definitely we will get a competent doctors and what the graduate we want. In the continuations of the same, now, as I told you that the numbers previously when the medical education system now, if you see, the number of colleges you may be thinking are increasing. In your district also there may be one more college, there may be one private or maybe one government college. So the next speaker, I would like to invite Dr. Aditya to talk about the quality versus quantity. If at all, Dr. Aditya, is it an issue? If it is an issue, then how best we can deal with it in the quality versus quantity? Over to you.
Thank you, sir, to enlightening the session and opening out on a very strong note. But as we have been talking about slightly differing from what, sir, yes, the curriculum has been expanded, it's better. But always the point, what we have to ask, and this is almost there on all WhatsApp and Facebook, if you have to destroy a nation, you just have to tamper with their health and education policy. And that's what exactly every government has been doing it. First the Britishers did it, now the other people are doing it. Just for the sake of political gain, increasing the quantity without actually making sure that the quality is not maintained is the biggest blunder any person could do. Indians are very talented, we are striving hard with whatever limited facilities, agreed. But just for the sake to make it more appeasing to people, opening more number of medical colleges, that too on a private level, compromising on lot of quality basis, there is no assessment. Either, it's more of biased assessment. If you are a private sector, they will scrutinize you thoroughly. If you are in a government sector, you are at the liberty of, saying ki hum to government sector wale. See, finally at the end point, it is the person who is being trained, who has been, the product that comes out, a refined doctor, right? That refined doctor is not refined. Okay, so now the question is, do we need a reserve doctor or do we need a deserved doctor? See, doctor is like a rigorous imprisonment for the rest of their life. It's not by choice or chance. It's a passion that anyone has to be to become a doctor. It's a rigorous imprisonment for the rest of your life. You have to compromise on your personal needs, to compromise on your family needs, and it's a never Thanksgiving job. You do 100 times help out people and one time you refuse, ये doctor तो बहुत egoistic हो गया है. Right? So the point is here, just because some governments are there, some bureaucrats are there, just to appease to people, just saying that we'll just increase the medical colleges, that's happening on such a rampant scale, that's not going to solve our problem. You have to, whatever colleges we have, the basic idea was, invest certain amount on that and increase the quality. No one is perfect, but you need to make everyone perfect and you need to refine things. The biggest thing we all faced was during the COVID pandemic. How we were facing it, that is again a different part. How we were prepared, what are our future things. But on a very strong note, what all of us need to know, right? I went to Mauritius, I was so happy, it's a very small country. Not to pose off that I went to Mauritius. The health and the education policy are free there. That is a very good thing. You maintain the standards, give free, you don't have to. Someone says 1.5 CR for a NRI quota. When the student comes out, what is he supposed to do? Half trained, there are a lot of rules now, they are relaxing the rules. See, the point is, the government or the decision makers, what they have to actually classify and certify things are, what are the modifiable rules and what are the rules which cannot be modified. Whoever it is, whether government or private. Because sir was talking about US and UK, there is one training thing in US also, where even a professor, we talk about simulation, a professor is actually asked to go do a simulation and he scored out of 10. If the professor scores less than 8, he is asked back to go to training. And dare we tell even an assistant professor here to go back to training. So the whole idea here is everyone wants instant service like Swiggy, but more important for us here to understand, yes, see, just because all of us need money, RBI cannot start printing money. Simple job. So at the same level, when we want a good quality education and health system, I strongly feel that just increasing the number of medical colleges, that too more on the private sector. I am not denying that private sector should not be there, but there should be more of government sector, and more important than the government and private, whoever it is. There should be a standardized curriculum, standardized protocol followed for both the colleges without compromising on the safety, because tomorrow these are the people who are going to treat us. And my professor always used to tell me, I still remember those words, you should feel happy that one of your student is going to treat you rather than vice versa. So that's very important. So that is what we need to strengthen upon. So I think there we'll have to talk more about the curriculum, the simulation part, and all those things, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Aditya. Well said. Actually, it does not make any difference, as you said very rightly, that whether it's a government or private or any deemed or any system, if, first of all, there should be a, whatever the requirements are there that need to be there. And if the people are there, if they're not doing also, sometimes it is happening. Professor is there, he doesn't want to teach. Requirement is filled, but it is not coming out. So ultimately, the faculty need to be motivated who are there, whether in the government or private, or the same thing, the MSR, what are the minimum standard regulations has to be there, that has to be fulfilled. Very nicely said, Dr. Aditya. Now, moving to the same connections with that, as I told you, the output we want is such kind of graduate. The first thing I told, that who is having the prerequisite knowledge, skill, attitude, ethics, professionalism, all these things. I will like to tell the medicine is art and science. Art in practicing and science in knowledge. And the most integral part of the medical education is the skill. Skill comes by doing. To put on the focus on that, I am happy to invite Dr. Gayatri Garu to talk about the passing exam does not mean a skilled doctor. There is a huge gap in the skills and doctors, and how can we address, Dr. Gayatri?
Good evening, everybody. So I think, I know all of you have had a very rigorous talk about skill and assessment and everything the whole day today, and you also have it tomorrow. So let me just put it in one sentence. What is a skill? It's just acquiring an action, right? For us, a skill is just acquiring an action. But that's a very outdated system. It's a very outdated definition that we hear all throughout our education process, our careers as well. So what do we call skill as in the present times? Skill is to know when, how, where, what, on who to perform that particular action on. That is what skill should be defined as. Skill can be classified into, especially on the medical side, skill can be classified for me on 4 things. One is intellectual, one is procedural, one is communication, and the 4th one is team. These 4 things are the primary, I'd say these are the basis. These are the skills to be developed first. And then we move on to the other things. Intellectual skill is to know when and how to do that skill. Procedural skill is exactly to know how to do that skill. Teamwork. The whole of medicine is a team. You need to know when to cry for help. You need to know when not to ask for help. You need to know who to ask for help. Communication and teamwork, those go hand in hand. What are we getting out of this? We are trying to get outstanding performers. We are trying to get the best doctors out of the field. But the biggest challenge for us is internship is the only time where we think that we have become doctors. So I myself have gone through the rigorous training of MBBS post-graduation in medicine and orthopedics. In medicine, the training happens only in internship. That was almost 10, 15 years ago. What we also need to understand is that training, if somebody would have said to me right now, are you happy with the kind of training that you got 10 years ago? I would put my foot down and say, no way. If somebody would have come to me and said, what kind of skills do you want? When do you want to start it? Do you think it would help if we started training you from year 1? That would have like made me a different doctor as well. So we need to understand the problems that actually come into the picture. One is for us to get outstanding performers, we need to understand the problem of the students who have joined MBBS. We need to understand the root cause of it. When they've joined MBBS for whatever reasons it may be, they are naive, they are new to the environment, there are different environmental factors which play. They really don't know. They're just 17, 18-year-old kids who just joined. They really don't know what they're getting themselves into. But what do their uncles at home say? Beta, I got you this ECG. I got you this X-ray. Can you have a look at it? You're a doctor. No. So these are the things that we go through on every single day. People need to understand that. MBBS students right now, they are not doctors. They are medical students. They are still learning the skill. So now the problem comes. So now what we need to do is we need to upskill them. We need to give them that confidence. Increasing their confidence improves their performance. So let's try to understand that. Number 1, we need to understand what they want. What they want is to be felt like doctors. To be made sure that, okay, fine, I have this skill, I can put it to some use. If I don't know, I have to go and get help. This is number 1. Number 2, we are looking at infrastructure. Infrastructure doesn't mean just teachers, just buildings, just classrooms, demo rooms, labs. No way. We are looking at infrastructure as efficient teachers. We are looking at skills, skill lab. We are looking at areas where they can actually go and perform that particular skill during the teaching period, during MBBS itself. Not during internship only, during MBBS itself. That is where a skill lab comes into the picture. Now what does the skill lab do? The skill lab actually actually gives them a very safe and a confident environment, a non-judgmental environment. What does this mean? This means that they can repeatedly do the procedure, perfect it, and then actually come out of it and say that, okay, fine, now I've got this down, let's move on to the other skill. They don't have to perform on the patients like how I got trained during internship. I can perform it in a skill lab, get my skill perfected, come out of it, and then perform it on patients and make as less errors as possible. This improves, this gets them to near perfection. This gives them the confidence. This improves their performance. And this ultimately gives us outstanding performers. Now the third one, how do we get that infrastructure to take it? How do we take that infrastructure to the next level? The main thing that we need to understand is there are different modes of teaching. There are new additions which come into the picture. One is skill-based. Obviously, you need a skill lab. Second one, we are looking at problem-based learning. Simulation-based learning is where the skill lab comes. Problem-based learning is also real-life problems which are simulated. The third one is gamified training. Gamified training is, see, all the kids these days are all into video games, are all into PUBG, which was actually banned, but okay. So these things are where we actually get the interest of the students to a peak and say that, see, this is the skill, you can actually do the simulation of it on this, and let's make a game out of it. So that is gamified training. Then comes role playing. So these are the, and also fine arts. Fine arts is a very weird thing to listen on a medical student side, except for drawing diagrams. But to be very honest, fine arts is something which will show them the intricacy of training. So these are the things which will develop confidence, which will make them outstanding performers, and which will make us get outstanding doctors at the end of internship. So yes, this is what I think a skill lab can do for a medical student, and ultimately get outstanding performers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gayatri. I think you have elaborated all the aspects. That is the way only when we can get the skilled and qualified doctors. Now moving to the last component of this discussions regarding the future readiness for the global emergency and pandemics. Last one we had, and now if at all in future comes, how whether we are ready or not to putting.
Thank you, sir. And it's a very important topic is that almost we are into the 2.5 years of the pandemic, and it is 1 in 100 years lifetime we will witness this kind of the calamity. And almost not only health, every sector of the human being, every sector of our life is affected, whether it is with economy, education, every aspect of us. Every aspect of us are affected. So health has so much impact on the everybody's life, which is neglected not only in India, entire world. So that shows the weakness of our health system. So if we go by the small statistics, from 2011 to till now, almost 1200 episodes of public health emergencies, minor or major, have happened. And 70 to 80% are of those diseases comes from the animals. So that is the importance of this pandemic. And if you look at the Ebola virus pandemic, it happened in Africa way back in 2014. Just 32 years before that incident, these kind of antibodies are present in the people. 5% of the people in the West African people has antibody to that Ebola virus. And it became a pandemic after 32 years. That means the virus entered from animal field to human, and at the same time, very immediately, it cannot become a pandemic. It gives some time for us to give a signal. So we have to find that signal. So 32 years is a very good time. We didn't recognize it. In the same way, even World Health Organization told that our life expectancy at birth is decided, our genetics, entire thing is genetics. So people are telling that. But 25% of our life is decided by the genetics. Rest is all environment, what we live in. In the same way, they described that the pandemic, how such particular incident become pandemic, they WHO classified among the 4 important situations and 20 conditions. Based on 20 conditions, if that particular incident become epidemic or pandemic, where we are, they decided based on the 1, 2, 3, 4 criteria among the, in comparison with the 20 episodes. If you look at the host, and means human and virus, if you remove the 2 factors, general factor, we talk about the general factors. The government readiness to the pandemic, that will decide whether that particular disease become pandemic or minor one. Number 2, the trust in the public health institutions. People, if you don't have faith in the government health institutions, then definitely that is also impact the whether that particular will move or not. And misinformation. If people don't have faith on the information source they are getting, if that is not fair, definitely what happened in the initial phases, there are so many misinformation and misconceptions. So that is very important. So proper information and the trust in the institutions where they are giving is more important. At the same time, the innovations in the society, how we are giving preference to the research or innovations, even without the pandemic. The research should go on. That environment, if it is going and we respect that environment, definitely we don't have these kind of things. And at the same time, intergovernmental cooperation and cooperation between the countries. If you look at the vaccination history, COVID particular, almost WHO gathered only 5% of the vaccines from all countries and distributed them to African countries. So even in the midst of the crisis, most of the countries are behaving like selfish. They are not supporting the other country. So one thing means even we don't witness this third wave. Because of the poor vaccination in South Africa, Omicron variant evolved because of the poor vaccination. So we need to cooperate each other. With a poor environment, these kind of things will be replicated. And at the same time, these are all the 20 factors will decide whether that particular incident. But if you rate where we are among these 20 situations, means we still, world is in poor in these 20 aspects. So if without strengthening all these factors, if African government is neglecting health, means it is neglecting entire world. So the epidemic in Africa can affect the America also. If you look at America, even it is worst affected with the COVID. The best healthcare country on the earth affected with the COVID-19. And whether you are good or not doesn't matter. Whether neighbors ill health also matters or will bow your head to that earth. So we should cooperate each other, that research environment and everything should go on. And finally, yesterday I read about the Rajya Sabha Standing Committee report. What they mentioned is our government also failed to give oxygen like thing. So we should improve those things to protect the people. At the same time, anything is money. Without spending, today's discussion is health and education. These are the two pillars of any society. Without spending money, we don't get anything. The spending on health is 1% of the GDP around, but the target is 5%. And state budget should be 8% of their budget should be allotted to the health. It is, I think, average Indian state government spending is less than 3%. So without money and without spending, we are nowhere in the race. So government should concentrate on the funding. That is a major important. Number two, not only funding, last one, African countries cooperation during this pandemic also a big lesson for so many countries. They all 52 countries helped each other, whatever they have a minor resources. So we should learn them cooperation has a role to play. That is the one aspect. Number two, finally, the American government also failed. Even Dharavi is a small slum, is the biggest slum in Asia. But the Bombay Municipal Corporation controlled the COVID-19 in such a way that it is an example for entire world, even to the lesson to the CDC, the best organizations in the world. What a Bombay Municipal Corporation did for a world worst slum in the world, why can't it replicate in the entire world? So those things should be replicated entire world. So we should learn from all the experiences. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for this. So ultimately the lesson is simple, ki not only government, private, national, international coordination, cooperation, with a trained healthcare professionals, which include not only the doctors, paramedical workers, nurses, and all staff, with a good research environment, definitely we can fight with any pandemic. So if at all, if there is a query from any from the audience side, we are ready. Otherwise, we have ended up with our panel discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi, for this wonderful panel discussion. A lot of inputs, of course. I would like to call upon Professor Ravindra Gupta, Vice Chancellor, Telangana University, who can hand over the memento to our esteemed speakers here. So I would like to call Dr. Gayatri Kamineni, COO, Kamineni Hospitals, to please accept a memento as a token of appreciation. Next would be Dr. Kiran Madhala, EC, member, All India Federation of Government Doctors Association. And then can we please have Dr. Aditya Vikram Kabra, Managing Director, Pulse Healthcare Associates, Chief and HOD. Last but not the least, our very wonderful moderator, Dr. K.P. Joshi, Vice Principal, SVS Medical College, Mehboob Nagar. Thank you all the speakers for your time and inputs.